I love Deltarune Chapter 3.
Maybe a little too much. It has a lot of iconic moments and memorable characters, but these qualities came with so much wasted potential. Chapter 3's premise is amazing.
A TV-themed Dark World! Sign me up!
Unfortunately, this chapter feels very small scale. Instead of exploring a vast western town or a city attacked by a Susizilla monster, we ended up with some Mario Party minigames and a Link's Awakening homage. Don't get me wrong, they're fun, but did we really wait 4 years for this? We're thrown into a whole TV world just to play on a NES. It's a really confusing direction. Imagine if instead Toriel joined you and the fun gang would have to roleplay different TV shows, shifting tone and style with each channel. That sounds infinitely more interesting than whatever this is. That's the kind of creativity seen from a lot of fan depictions of Chapter 3, and these ideas are objectively better than anything we got. Chapter 3 just plays it so safe. Then we have weird design choices like the ranking system. Didn't get an S rank? Too bad. Replay the beginning section.
But wait, you can actually buy S rank for an expensive amount of points?
What points? The points you already gambled away in the prize machine? It's not like the game tells you this is an option. Chapter 3 just feels like a result of poor planning and lack of direction. It feels like a smorgasbord of random ideas, something proven through all this scrapped content. A fully functional third board? Cancelled. A whole Western themed section? Reused as a one-off minigame. Tetrabit Gaming is gonna have a field day. Might even argue Tenna's backstory was cancelled for how little we got to know him. Speaking of, let's talk about this little goober. Tenna is the eccentric, wacky new boss of the chapter. He runs the game show in an effort to be acknowledged by the Dreamers. And his former business partner was Spamton G. Spamton.
Wow! Surely we'll learn a ton about Tenna, delving deep into his backstory and relationship with Spamton, right? Right?
I love Tenna. He's a fun character. He's also the perfect example of wasted potential. Toby made a character so closely connected with Spamton and did jack shit with them. Maybe that's too harsh. What about Tenna's backstory? He's sad no one watches him, so he's evil. I wouldn't even mind it that much if he wasn't foreshadowed as some extremely important villain. But nope, he's just another Tumblr sexy man. To be fair, King and Queen are also pretty one note, but Tenna is so drastically unique, I thought they'd do more with him. I was excited to see Tenna and Spamton's relationship play out, but instead we got a joke buried in an optional area. Their dynamic should have been a real arc. Tenna's death is supposed to be impactful, but the game never gave me a reason to care about him. Explore his backstory. Show us his downfall. Give me a reason to care. He comes back in Chapter 4, making his death utterly meaningless. And I get it. Not every character has to have some traumatic backstory that defines them. But Tenna's whole career was negatively affected because of Spamton, and we get almost nothing on that. They try to hide some mystery within Tenna by having him call some unknown person during the game boards. And are we expected to piece together who this is? There's already like 20 mysteries in this game. I don't really care to wonder who he's talking to, especially since we'll never know because this chapter's over. Then there's Mike. Toby planted the seed for Mike in Chapter 2, and they've been a big deal ever since. So what do we get in Chapter 3?
Nothing! Now get out!
Oh wait, no, we got a giant you from Toby Fox. The game makes fun of you for ever thinking Mike was real. What a payoff!
Whoa, and 3 new minigames! Sign me up! I'm glad I waited 4 years.
Jokes aside, it's pretty dumb Mike has his own studio in Castletown, but the most information we get is that they don't exist. This secret boss is admittedly cool, but it ultimately serves no purpose story-wise. At this point, I don't really give a shit. I don't care about Mike's identity. This scene effectively kills any mystery involving Mike by making everything a meta joke. Most fans are probably more interested in Chapter 5's foreshadowing. As for the other characters, I liked Lalino and Elnina's side story a lot, and Rule's cucking both of them was pretty funny. I liked Lancer's jokes, but I wish he was a little more relevant to the story. He's really just there to be a goober, and that's awesome. But it's kind of decharacterizing. It feels like he was lobotomized into a meme generator. If this game wants me to believe these characters aren't just illusions, then give more to them outside of jokes. Something perfectly executed with Ramp, a character who has close ties to Chris and heavily reinforces the freedom motif. He gives us access to the secret, sketchy game board.
Wow! The perfect setup for a secret boss!
And he turned to stone. Actually, on the topic, why the f
fuck do rules in Lancer not turn to stone? Is there some secret dialogue in my left nutsack that explains this? Are we retconning this to make more jokes? The story feels like it's on pause here. Arguably the best part about these chapters is seeing these characters interact and grow. But that growth slows to a crawl in place of minigames. Why do we play these minigames? Well, because Tenna gets depressed if you don't. Is there no urgency to save Toriel? It's mentioned like twice ever. The character motivations are non-existent. Speaking of, why does Tenna want Toriel? To watch his show? She can't really do that if she's trapped in a ball. Apparently it's because Tenna made a deal with Chris to keep the Lightners distracted, so the Knight can steal Toriel, with promises of more attention and fame for Tenna. But you could only figure this out through a hidden secret area most players won't find. I don't care if it's a spooky, scary secret. Having the main villain's motivations be tucked away in my asshole is a horrible way to write a character. Even then, once he's brought to Castletown, this promise is never mentioned again. Overall, the writing isn't bad. It's charming, but it doesn't advance anything. It only really picks up towards the end with... Let's talk about the Knight. This is an amazing reveal. Literally no one thought we'd be seeing the Knight this early, and they make their presence known, demolishing Tenna and attempting to kidnap Toriel. You could remove everything from chapter 3 but this scene, and it would make no difference. The fight is fairly difficult too, which is a nice change of pace from other bosses. If we didn't get a secret boss, I'd say this makes up for it. But this sequence has its flaws in terms of story. The Knight not killing Tenna honestly makes them less threatening as a result. Almost beating the Knight has the same issue. Are we supposed to be afraid of them when we can almost beat them? Why didn't the Knight just do this move from the beginning? Unless the Chris Slash theory is real, this makes no sense. Luckily, chapter 4 makes them a bigger threat, so this isn't a big deal. So yeah, chapter 3 is a mess, but it's not all bad. Let's go over what I actually liked about chapter 3. I really like the music for this chapter. Welcome to the Green Room, It's TV Time, Vapor Buster, and Black Knife are among my favorite Deltarune tracks. My all-time favorite has to be Rooter Buster. Oh my god. For the plot, I like the beginning and ending sections. These character moments are really nice to see, and it gave us much needed answers. I also like how Susie plays in this game show to cheer up Ralze. The minigames, for how much I bashed on them, are actually pretty fun. It's a nice change of pace. Still not a fan of these game boards though. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't have much positive left to say. I'm sure there's 20 different things to critique in this video, but I don't care. I got my point across, and while I wasn't disappointed playing through chapter 3, looking back, they could have done a lot more. I already see the comment, "You're just mad, the chapter wasn't what you were expecting." And that's not true. Generally, the chapter turned out great. I'm just pointing out a lot of missed opportunities that could have made chapter 3 as good as chapter 4. Let me know what you thought of chapter 3 in the comments. Try to remove any recency bias for this chapter and give me your honest thoughts. Thanks for watching till the end. Subscribe and like if you want, or dislike. I'm sure I'll get plenty of those.